Dry or shell beans are an easy to grow food staple that will keep throughout the winter or until you eat them all. If you haven't grown them, I highly recommend trying them this season. If you're interested in self sufficiency, they are a great survival food. There are over 400 types of beans, many of which are regionally specific. Dried beans are mature seeds that have dried in the pod on the plant. It can be a lot of fun to explore new ones. We are talking about some of the more common ones today. It is true that dry beans have a lower yield than fresh green beans. This is because we pick green beans over and over again throughout the growing season. Also, dry beans just weigh less due to water loss. For fresh green beans, each bush plant produces about 1/2 pound, and pole varieties about 1 pound. If you pick your green beans consistently, they continue to make new beans over a period of several weeks. We pick dry beans just once. Dry beans average 1 pound per 10 plants. So, in a plot that was 4 by 4 feet, I got about 6.5 pounds of dried beans. I will talk about some specific high yielding varieties further along in the video. Hi, and welcome to my channel where I talk about organic gardening and wildlife conservation. I'm Amy, a master gardener and semi retired science teacher. Black turtle beans are my favorite dry bean to grow. Dry beans are a legume and grow similar to green beans. They also have the advantage of fixing nitrogen in the soil. You can check out my video on growing green beans as well. For your dry beans, you want to prepare a seed bed in an area that gets about 6 to 8 hours of sun. Beans aren't heavy feeders, but add in some aged compost to make sure they have plenty of nutrients. Shell beans should be planted after the last frost date in spring, when the soil has warmed to at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 degrees Celsius. Beans do not tolerate frost, so wait until nighttime temperatures are consistently above 49 degrees Fahrenheit. So in zone 6, that will be late April, and in zone 5, mid May. I do recommend getting a soil thermometer. I have an older Taylor model which cost about $10 and is well worth the money. I'll leave an Amazon link below. We do earn a small commission when you use our links, and I thank you for that. Since beans need warmer soil, they are a wonderful succession crop. Plant a cool weather crop like spinach or arugula in the bed in early spring. When it's done, pull out the spent plants, add some compost, and plant your beans. Then, when your beans are done, plant a fall crop that will benefit from their nitrogen. Direct seed dry beans 4 inches apart, 1 inch deep, in rows 2 feet apart. If you are doing the square foot method, you will plant 4 seeds per square. I give my dry beans a bit more room than my green beans. This is because they need good air circulation. Keep the soil moist but not soggy during germination. Once established, water deeply once or twice a week, depending on rainfall. Reduce watering as pods begin to dry near harvest time. Keep your beans well weeded. Weeds compete with nutrients and can also harbor pathogens. Bean yellow mosaic virus, or BYMV, is common in zone 6, especially among commercial crops that are near soybeans. It is spread by aphids. Crop rotation and using corn as a barrier crop are 2 ways that you can organically control it. Also, encourage lady beetles. Attract lady beetles to your garden because they love to eat aphids. They also need pollen and so are attracted by flowers such as marigolds and yarrow and herbs like cilantro and dill. Mexican bean beetles are my biggest pests when it comes to beans, all beans. I use Monterey organic insecticide for severe infestations. You can also scrape them into a jar full of soapy water and dispose of them. Squish the small yellow eggs they lay on the undersides of leaves. Check out my video on getting rid of bean beetles for more tips. Since we don't harvest dry beans until the end of their life cycle, we sometimes ignore them. Inspect your plants on a regular basis for any pests and disease. I found a great page on the Washington State University site that rated yields of different dry beans. I'll put the link below. Like I said, I love the black turtle beans. They are an heirloom and taste terrific. I love them for burritos. But turns out they are on the lower side for yield. Eclipse was the best as far as yield for black beans and yielded 804 grams for a 10-foot row. It turns out it is carried by high mowing organic seeds, so I might try them this season. They are a bush variety and very disease resistant. If you like pinto beans, then Quincy has excellent yields, producing 729 grams per 10-foot row on the WSU Research Farm. They are also available from high mowing seeds as well as Fedco. Quincy takes 109 days to mature, so may be more suited to Zone 6 folks. They have an upright bush habit and are mosaic resistant. Fedco says they have a good, creamy flavor, perfect for a mid-winter comfort meal. Great northern beans do well in Zone 5 and are more suited for cooler weather. They mature in under 80 days and have a mild flavor that's great for soups. Northern beans are more viney and will need a trellis. Dry beans should be left on the plant until the pods turn brown and get dry. Check that they are dry and rattle when shaken. For a small patch, you can just pick by hand. You can also just pull up the entire plant, pull the beans off, and then put the plants in the compost. You can also hang the plants upside down in a dry, well-ventilated area for a few days if the pods aren't fully dry. In the event of a late summer storm, you might want to pull and hang them a few days early. After they dry, you can shell them by hand. It's a fun family activity, or do it in the evening when you stream a show. You can also place them in a bag, shake them, or roll them around in a tarp to dislodge the seeds. I've tried both methods, and you still need to hand shell some. After you shell them, it's best to allow them more time to dry out and cure. Spread the beans on a single layer, like on a tray or a mesh, for 1 to 2 weeks in a cool, clean area to ensure they are fully dry. So this is coffee beans. I didn't have a good picture of shell beans, but same kind of principle. I've used a screen door or window screens, and they both make good drying racks. Drying can also be completed in the sun or a dehydrator. If you have bug issues, freeze the beans at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below that for at least 48 hours, and then place in a single layer on a tray or shallow pan in a preheated oven at 160 degrees Fahrenheit for about a half hour. Store the beans in airtight containers in a cool, dark, and dry place. Properly dried beans can last 2 to 3 years if kept moisture free. When cooking, the general rule is 1 cup dry beans will make 3 cups of cooked beans. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and share what dry beans you have grown in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous sunny day.